Chosen one, there is a rare moment in a man's life when the world begins to shift in his favor. Not because he has demanded it, but because he has become it. That moment, though subtle in appearance, is monumental in spirit. It is the moment when women begin to treat you like a king, not through obligation or performance, but through instinct, because something within you has awakened. Something sacred, something primal, something undeniable. Your high sexual energy has matured into something magnetic. It no longer pushes, no longer pleads, no longer begs to be recognized. It simply exists, steady and alive, humming beneath your skin with a frequency that moves silently through every space you enter. You walk and the room feels it. You speak and the atmosphere responds. You don't chase respect, you attract it. You don't ask for honor, you embody it. And the world, especially the feminine world, can't help but acknowledge what it senses rising in you. But now, as you stand at this new threshold, you must pause, not to retreat, but to recognize. You must acknowledge this power that lives within you, not as a fleeting rush of validation, but as a responsibility. You are no longer just a man among many. You are stepping into a role that very few have the courage to embrace. To be treated like a king is not about vanity. It is not about domination. It is not about being waited on or praised. It is about being worthy of the respect that surrounds you. That worthiness is not earned through status. It is earned through presence. Through the way you carry your energy, the way you regard others, the way you honor your word, even when it's inconvenient. Women are drawn to you now, not because of what you have, but because of who you are when no one is looking. They sense the discipline behind your pleasure. They sense the calm behind your confidence. They sense the fire behind your silence. You have become a sanctuary of truth in a world full of games. And that, chosen one, is the beginning of sovereignty. This is the time to ground yourself, not in arrogance, but in awareness. You are not here to gloat over the attention you receive. You are here to understand what it means to hold this power with grace. Your high sexual energy is not something you weaponize. It is something you cultivate, something you offer, not something you use to manipulate. When women begin to treat you like royalty, it is not because they are losing themselves. It is because they see that you have found yourself. But now, the real work begins. This chapter is your preparation, your initiation into a new level of being. You must stand tall, not in pride, but in clarity. You must walk forward, not seeking more eyes, but carrying more vision. Let the recognition that surrounds you be a mirror, not a mask. Let it reflect how far you've come, but never let it distract you from how far you're still called to go. A king does not seek validation. He radiates it, and so must you. Chosen one, influence is not something you demand. It is something that is given to you by those who trust the energy you bring into their lives. When women begin to treat you like a king, it means something deeper than just admiration. It means they are willing to be guided by your energy. It means they see something in you that reflects what is possible within themselves. And that is no small thing. Influence is not glory. It is not privilege. It is responsibility. The responsibility to stay clean with your power, to stay honest with your intentions, and to remain anchored even when the world begins to orbit around your light. Women are responding to the stability in your spirit, the way your high sexual energy is not impulsive but focused. They are responding not just to your magnetism, but to your direction, and that makes you a leader, whether you claim the title or not. So what will you do with this influence? Will you use it to impress, to collect, to consume, or will you use it to uplift, to inspire, to transform? You see, the true king is not the man who is admired the most. He is the one who holds the most space for others to rise. Your energy is no longer just your own. It has become a current, and everything in your orbit is being shaped by it. Every conversation, every touch, every pause, every decision. You are creating waves that ripple through the hearts of those around you, and especially through the hearts of women. And that is where your highest standard must be set. Because women do not treat a man like a king lightly. They do so when they feel safe, when they feel seen, when they feel led, not in control, but in trust. Your role now is not to control or contain their energy. Your role is to honor it, to understand that the feminine responds to clarity, to strength, to truth, not to ego, not to dominance and not to performance. She wants to feel your power, yes, but more than that, she wants to feel your integrity. And integrity is invisible until it is tested. So prepare, chosen one, because the more your influence grows, the more your values will be tested. You will be tempted to say yes when you know you should say no. You will be invited into moments that sparkle with excitement but carry no purpose. You will be admired by people who want your attention but cannot match your depth, and you must hold steady. You must remember that being treated like a king is not the goal. It is the reflection of the man you've become. So rise into that man. The one who does not need to prove, only to be. The one who does not need to conquer, only to embody. The one who walks through his life, knowing that the energy he carries can build or destroy, heal or harm, deepen or distract. And he chooses, always, to build, to heal, to deepen. That is the responsibility of your influence. That is the throne you now sit upon. And it is not made of gold, it is made of self-mastery. Chosen one, when women begin to treat you like a king, it's easy to become enamored by the affection, to revel in the reverence. It is tempting to lean back and assume that you've arrived, that you are now the prize, the center, the exalted one. But if you are not careful, the very energy that elevated you can begin to corrupt you. The crown that was placed upon your head by admiration can slip into a mask of entitlement. And that is why grace and gratitude must become your armor. You did not force this respect. You did not coerce it. It came to you because you aligned with something deeper. Women feel it. They respond to your presence, not simply because of your looks, your body, or your words, but because of the frequency you carry. It is your high sexual energy, matured, tempered, and refined, that draws them near. But more than that, it is the peace you've cultivated beneath that fire, the discipline beneath the desire, the divinity you've discovered in your own masculine being. That is what evokes reverence. And when a woman treats you like a king, it is not because she is beneath you. It is because she recognizes a part of herself reflected in your light. She sees your presence and remembers her softness. She feels your strength and releases her tension. She experiences your clarity and begins to trust her own intuition. You become not just a man, you become a reminder of the balance and beauty that exists when power is held with tenderness. This is why grace is essential. To be given that kind of energy from others, to be offered space, attention, even devotion, is a gift. And if you receive it with an open heart, without expectation, without ownership, then you become something sacred in her life. You become the kind of man who allows her to flourish, not by demanding submission, but by offering stability. Gratitude then becomes the bridge between your power and your purpose. When you are grateful, you stay awake to the truth that this reverence is not yours to possess. It is yours to honor. You did the work, yes. You mastered your energy, yes, but everything given to you from the feminine is still offered, not owed. And when you greet it with reverence, when you say thank you with your actions, not just your words, you keep your soul aligned with the very energy that made you magnetic in the first place. Gratitude is not weakness. It does not make you less of a king. It deepens your throne. It roots your crown. It reminds you that power is not something you wield over others, but something you share with them. You do not lord your energy over women to make them feel small. You invite them into your kingdom so they remember how powerful they've always been. Grace teaches you to move through the world with softness and strength intertwined. Gratitude teaches you to remain humble, even when praised. And together, they protect you from becoming a man who is worshipped outwardly, but hollow inwardly. Chosen one, the world may call you king. Let them. Let them speak it, reflect it, celebrate it. But in your heart, remain a servant to the truth. Remain grounded in your awareness that every moment of reverence you receive is a moment to mirror it back with kindness, with humility, with warmth. Let your smile be sincere. Let your words carry weight. Let your silence be filled with understanding. And above all, let your soul remain rooted in gratitude for every woman who chooses to reflect your strength with her openness. This is the grace of a true king, not to rule, but to reign with heart. Chosen one, it is not difficult to rise in power. The world is full of men who have gained attention. What is rare, what is divine, is to remain in integrity once power is given. To continue to walk upright when your name is praised. To continue to speak truth when it would be easier to charm. To continue to move with principle when temptation grows louder. This is where the ordinary man falters. But you, chosen one, were not made to be ordinary. You now stand in a position where women see you as a figure of sovereignty. They see the calm in your posture, the certainty in your voice, the discipline in your movement. They feel the heat of your energy, not scattered and needy, but still and deliberate. And in that stillness, they feel something safe, something commanding, something kingly. And with that comes admiration. With that comes reverence. With that comes trust. Integrity then becomes your compass, because with trust comes responsibility. Not every woman who looks to you wants to love you romantically. Some are simply drawn to your light. Some need to witness a man who holds his sexual power without using it as a weapon. Some need to know it's possible for a man to be desired but not manipulative, to be confident but not arrogant, to be powerful but not predatory. You lead with integrity by knowing who you are before others tell you who you are. You are not shaped by applause. You are not inflated by validation. You move from the inside out, rooted in the values you forged when no one was watching. You make decisions based on alignment, not convenience. You choose honesty, even when silence could benefit you more. You walk away from temptation, not because you fear it, but because you respect your name too much to stain it. Women feel this. They don't just hear your words, they sense your motives. They feel when you say something to impress versus when you speak from truth. They feel when your compliments are clean and when they're a hook. They feel when your desire is sincere and when it's a tactic. And when a woman sees you hold yourself in integrity despite her beauty, despite her offer, despite her longing, something rare blooms inside her. Trust, and trust is sacred. It is the soil from which real connection grows. Integrity also shows up in how you handle rejection, how you maintain boundaries, how you treat those who can do nothing for you. The women who treat you like a king are watching, not just in intimacy, but in everyday interactions. They watch how you treat waitstaff, how you speak to the elderly, how you respond when frustrated. Your crown is not measured by how you are adored, but by how you respond when no one is looking to be impressed. So walk carefully, chosen one. Not out of fear, but out of reverence for the life you are building. Your sexual energy is not the source of your power. It is the expression of the work you've done inside. Protect it, guard it, guide it with integrity. Let every encounter with you be a lesson in how a man can carry power with purity. And when women treat you like a king, show them why you deserve the title. Not through dominance, not through seduction, but through the quiet, unwavering strength of a man who lives in alignment with what he claims to be. That is how you lead. That is how you reign. And that is how your presence becomes not just magnetic, but immortal. Chosen one, as your energy ascends and your presence expands, something essential begins to reveal itself. The more power you carry, the more balance you must cultivate. You are now being treated like a king, not because of what you demand, but because of what you emanate. And in this sacred space where high sexual energy becomes a living flame rather than a flickering spark, the greatest test will not be how much you attract, but how well you remain centered in the face of it all. Your sexual energy is not a wildfire to be left untamed. It is a sacred fire that must be channeled. And now that you have learned to hold it without spilling it recklessly, the world will offer you distractions in beautiful disguise. Opportunities will rise, pleasure without depth, affection without meaning, praise without substance. And yet, this is where your strength must shine the most, not through rejection of desire, but through your ability to hold it all with grace. That is what balance looks like, not repression, not indulgence, but mastery. To maintain balance, you must return to the foundation of your path, intention. Why do you do what you do? Why do you speak, smile, embrace, engage? Is it to feed your ego or to deepen your purpose? A king is not swayed by every voice in the court. He is still. He is quiet enough within himself to feel when something is pulling him off course. And you, chosen one, are no longer at the mercy of your impulses. You've walked through the furnace of transformation. Now you must walk with the calm of one who remembers his lessons. Balance also demands that you nurture the parts of you that no one applauds. Your inner child, your solitude, your creativity, your spiritual longing. These things don't get public praise, but they are the roots that keep your kingdom from toppling. When women treat you like a king, they are responding to a man who has embraced all of himself. Not just the confident, charming outer frame, but the private integrity of someone who holds sacred time for stillness, reflection, and humility. You must also balance your giving and receiving. Yes, you are admired. Yes, your presence is magnetic. But remember, your role is not to be an endless fountain that pours out energy without rest. There's a rhythm to this dance. You give generously when the moment is aligned, but you also receive with openness when others offer their affection, their insight, their truth. You are not above love. You are not above learning. You are a vessel of reciprocity. This balance extends to your relationships. As women approach you with reverence, admiration, even devotion, you must respond not from entitlement, but from discernment. Not everyone who bows before you belongs in your inner circle. Not everyone who calls you king understands what that truly means. And your ability to hold your energy without scattering it across too many hearts is a reflection of how deeply you value what you've built within. So breathe. Root yourself again and again. Balance your strength with softness, your fire with stillness, your desire with direction. Let your presence be a reminder that power and peace are not opposites. They are brothers. They are the twin blades of your inner throne. And in that balance, you don't just remain powerful, you become untouchable. Chosen one, now that you are seen, respected, even revered, the world will begin to speak more loudly in your direction. Women will share their thoughts, their emotions, their longings, their doubts. They are not doing this to test you. They are doing it because they feel safe to be real around you. Your high sexual energy may have opened the door, but your calm presence, your patient attention, your stillness in the storm is what keeps them walking through it. But here's what many do not understand. Real listening is not just about hearing. It is a sacred reception of essence. It is an offering of space so that another can unfold in their truth without fear. And you, chosen one, must master this art, not as a strategy, but as a way of being. Because when women open up to you, when they reveal the thoughts they don't normally say aloud, they are trusting that your silence will hold them, not consume them. That your energy will contain, not critique. That your presence is a reflection pool, not a mirror filled with judgment. To listen is to lead, not with answers, not with solutions, but with presence. You do not interrupt to redirect. You do not nod just to appear wise. You sink into the moment like you're stepping into sacred water, calm and receptive. You let the waves of her words move through you, not to fix her pain, but to witness it. Not to carry her story, but to respect it. And in doing so, you become something rare. A man who doesn't speak to be heard, but who listens to understand. This kind of listening transforms you. It sharpens your intuition. It humbles your ego. It slows your thoughts so that your wisdom can rise through your breath. And it shows women, without saying it, that you are not here to consume their beauty. You are here to revere their being. That's what sets you apart from the noise. That's what makes your attention feel like safety. Sometimes a woman will share something fragile with you, not because she needs a fix, but because she needs someone to see her without editing her. In that moment, your power is not in what you do, it is in what you choose not to do. You do not rescue her from her feelings. You do not overlay her experience with your own. You do not steer the conversation to flatter your identity. You simply remain, and in remaining, in being, you create the space for healing to happen. And when you speak, you do so with reverence. Your words carry precision because your ears have gathered truth. Your response feels rare because your silence felt deep. And that, chosen one, is what it means to be trusted. Not because of your charm, but because of your containment. Because you can hold emotional complexity without flinching. Because you can honor the feminine without trying to tame it. So become the man who listens not just with his ears, but with his entire body, his breath, his presence. Become the one who slows down enough to feel what isn't said. Become the calm space in a world addicted to reaction. Because when you listen like that, your energy becomes something she carries long after the conversation ends. Not as a memory, but as medicine. Chosen one, when a woman treats you like a king, She is not simply reacting to your posture or your presence. She is responding to the permission your energy gives her to remember who she is. She is not surrendering because she is weak. She is not praising you because she has no power of her own. On the contrary, she is revealing the fullness of her feminine when she senses that your masculine has the strength to hold it. And in that sacred exchange, a miracle begins to happen, one that transcends charm or chemistry, one that touches something spiritual. You begin to empower her light simply by standing in your truth. Your high sexual energy, when aligned with soul and grounded in integrity, has become a field of trust. It's not just magnetic, it's activating. Women feel themselves come alive in your presence, not because you try to spark it, but because your energy is so unshakably present that it reflects their dormant radiance back to them. This is what the world rarely understands, that the most powerful men do not dominate women. They awaken them. You do not demand their softness, you inspire it. You do not ask for their sensuality, you make it safe to emerge. You do not beg for their heart, you honor it without expectation. And in that, you become someone she wants to give it to, not because she must, but because she chooses to. To empower a woman is not to fix her. It is not to mold her into your vision. It is to be so fully anchored in who you are that she feels safe letting go of who she is not. She drops the mask, she exhales the tension, she stops performing, and she begins feeling. In your steadiness, she stops running. In your silence, she begins hearing herself. In your strength, she becomes softer, not as a performance, but as a return. This is the role your energy plays now. You are no longer merely a man in pursuit of admiration. You have become a mirror, and what that mirror reflects is far more important than how it is polished. When women treat you like a king, it is because you have reminded them that not all men are seeking to take, to conquer, or to devour. Some are here to see, to cherish, to elevate. But this is not about being passive. You do not become empowering by disappearing into the background. You lead. You speak when it's time. You set boundaries when needed. You say no when the moment calls for clarity. But you do it with intention, with grace, with presence. And that kind of leadership awakens the leader in her. It calls her higher. It gives her space to expand. You are no longer asking, how do I impress her? You are now asking, how do I empower her essence while remaining in mine? And when that becomes your orientation, your presence transforms from appealing to legendary. You are the man she remembers, not because you gave her butterflies, but because you gave her space to fly. And for that chosen one, she calls you king. Chosen one, now you must walk with a deeper kind of discernment. Because when your energy grows in power, so does your visibility. When your light expands, so do the shadows around it. And when women begin treating you like a king, not all will come to honor the throne. Some will come to sit in its glow. Some will come out of fascination, fantasy, or the desire to drink from your fire without understanding its cost. This is not a reason to hide, but it is a reason to see clearly. Adoration is beautiful. It is affirming. It is a reminder that the work you've done within yourself is felt externally. But adoration is not always anchored in reality. Sometimes, what others project onto you is not who you are, but who they hope to be near. And your task is to stay centered in who you truly are, not in how others perceive you. When a woman adores you, let it be received with grace, but not with ego. Let it nourish your heart, but not distort your sight. Because in the flood of admiration, it is easy to become intoxicated by the attention. It is easy to confuse flattery with love. But the king who rules with wisdom knows that not every voice in the crowd is meant to shape his decisions. He knows when to smile and when to step back. You will be tempted, chosen one, not always by lust but by worship. Some will want to place you on a pedestal that even your highest self cannot stand on. And it may feel good for a time, but if you build your worth on how brightly others shine their light toward you, you'll find yourself needing their eyes to remember your reflection. That is a trap. Instead, stay vigilant. Let adoration pass through you like wind, not as something you grasp, but as something you appreciate and release. Meet every woman with presence, but also with discernment. Ask not only what she sees in you, but whether she sees herself clearly. Ask not whether she is impressed by your power, but whether she honors her own. Because if she forgets herself in your glow, she will ask you to become her light source. And you are not here to replace her sun. You are here to be whole and to attract those who are walking the same path. Wisdom means knowing when to invite someone closer and when to protect your peace. It means knowing the difference between chemistry and chaos, between flattery and alignment, between desire and destiny. It means standing in the midst of adoration and remembering that what matters most is not how others see you, but how clearly you see your own path. So when the attention rises, breathe deeper. When the praise comes, smile softly. When the attraction grows, ask what energy it carries. And when women call you king, bow not with arrogance, but with grace. Because a man who can receive adoration without becoming addicted to it is a man who is not only admired, but trusted. And in that trust, chosen one, your kingdom becomes unshakable. Chosen one, the further you rise, the quieter your world becomes. Not because the noise has left, but because your soul begins to crave clarity more than company. As women admire you, as they treat you like a king and revere your energy, there will come a moment where you must retreat, not from them, but from what the world projects onto you. This is the solitude of leadership, the sacred silence where a true king remembers why he rose at all. You did not come this far to become a reflection of everyone's desires. You came to become a reflection of truth. And the only place where truth is fully seen is in stillness. Not applause, not attention, not affection, but in the sacred room where no one is watching you, and yet you choose to be the highest version of yourself. That is where kings are crowned, not in courts of praise, but in chambers of solitude. Solitude is not loneliness, it is refinement. It is where your power becomes polished, where your instincts become quiet enough to hear guidance. You must not fear it. You must not run from it. In fact, the more you are adored, the more solitude becomes necessary. Because when women treat you like a king, they aren't just responding to your sexual energy. They are responding to something deeper, the self-control that your energy whispers about, the stillness behind your smile, the mystery behind your gaze, the peace that lives beneath the fire. But peace does not maintain itself. It is forged through constant returns. Returns to your breath, to your body, to your silence. This is why solitude is your sanctuary, because it removes the mirrors, it removes the masks. It leaves you with your core, your values, your God-given inner compass, and only there can you ask the questions that truly matter. Am I moving from ego or alignment? Am I using my energy to uplift or to take? Am I still a man whose presence heals, or have I become intoxicated by the very praise I once sought to outgrow? These questions are not for shame, they are for clarity. And that clarity is the very thing that ensures your power remains clean, that your attraction remains intentional, that your influence remains pure. So take time to withdraw, not as avoidance, but as devotion. Step away from attention, from reaction, from validation, and sit alone with your source. Let yourself become empty enough to be refilled by truth. Let the echoes of your success fall away so that your soul can sing again in its original tone. Because only a man who knows himself in silence can be trusted when the world becomes loud. Only a man who is faithful to his solitude can lead with integrity when the crowd comes calling. And only a man who returns to his center again and again can wear the crown without letting it weigh down his spirit. You are not just becoming more visible, chosen one. You are becoming more sacred. And solitude is where that sacredness is sealed. Chosen one, look around, not with your eyes, but with your awareness. Feel the way people respond when you walk into a space. Hear the weight of your voice when you speak. Notice the hearts you touch, the minds you shift, the safety your presence now provides. This is not by accident. This is the legacy you are building. One moment, one breath, one decision at a time. You may have begun this journey seeking validation, craving recognition, even chasing pleasure. But you've evolved. What you carry now is something much more profound than desire. You carry influence born of character. You carry wisdom born of restraint. You carry respect born of unwavering integrity. And it is these things, not just your energy, not just your charm, that women respond to when they call you king. So now, the question is not how brightly you shine. The question is, what will your light leave behind? Will women remember you only for how you made them feel in the moment, or for how you reminded them of their value when they had forgotten it? Will people remember you for the silence you kept when it wasn't your turn to speak? For the truth you lived even when it was inconvenient? For the way your gaze carried both strength and softness, as though it had seen the storm and chosen peace anyway? The legacy of a king is not built on the praise he receives, but on the lives he elevates just by being present. The legacy of a king is not in how many adore him, but in how many rise because of him. This doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean being untouched by temptation. It means choosing alignment over and over again, even after failure. It means returning to your truth when it would be easier to perform. It means walking your path when others want you to wander.